ESPN Bet has the 49ers, the road team, as a 3-point favorite, so that's really a 6-point favorite. That would be the largest home underdog role in the regular season by a 10-1 team with their primary starting quarterback. That being said, Bart, who's playing better this season? Is it Jalen Hurts or Brock Purdy?
I would say Jalen Hurts. Now, I know, Brock Purdy, the gaudy numbers, and I'm sure Lewis is going to, put them all out there. But, Brock Purdy, we saw who he was when, Trent Williams and Deebo Samuels went down. They still had enough players for him to play at a high level. We watched him struggle when he had to go through his progressions when number one or number two or Shanahan couldn't dial him up and draw him up wide open completions. Now, he's played at a much better level than I think people, gave him credit for last year, thinking he was just a product of his environment, which most quarterbacks are. But Jalen Hurts has found ways to win. I think he's getting a little bit more healthier. I think it seemed like he was a little bit injured early in the season with the knee and the ankle, and he's starting to come to form. But Philadelphia is living dangerously. But if I had to pick who was playing better, I would say Hurts, because I know his ceiling is a lot higher than Brock Purdy. And, we know that you don't stay healthy in the NFL. And if Trent Williams goes down or Deebo Samuels goes down and everything isn't perfect in that environment, I don't know if Brock Purdy can elevate the play of everybody else around him to fill up those gaps. I know that Jalen Hurts is a plus multiplier. Best player in the Super Bowl last year.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Look, we're not talking about which player has the highest ceiling. We're talking about which player is playing best right now. And Brock Purdy, you'd be hard-pressed to find over the past 20 years anybody playing at an efficiency level as high as Brock Purdy's playing right now. The numbers just bear it out. And subjectively, when you throw on the tape, I don't think everything that's happening in this offense is just simply a matter of, well, Kyle Shanahan is dialing up to where number one is always open and all he has to do is throw it to him. No, Brock is playing at a much more advanced level than that. This is the guy who is definitely a great decision maker, a full field reader, a guy who can throw from different platforms, a guy who has better escapability and ability to throw on the move than you give him credit for. And one of the things I think that he shows at a very advanced level is the anticipation with which he throws, especially on those in breakers 15, 20 yards down the field coming across the middle. He throws those like old style Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf quarterback play. He's playing at that kind of level. And think about it like this. This guy has the kind of completion percentage that he has, and he's averaging over 9 yards per attempt. He's almost a full yard ahead of number two, of the guy who's in second place. He's pushing the rock down the field, and he's pushing it down the field with tremendous accuracy. I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts. I said last year that this year he would be in the conversation as a top 2 or 3 quarterback in the NFL, and he's right there. It's going to be nip and tuck down the line as far as who wins this MVP, of whether it be him, Dak, Patrick Mahomes. You can't forget about him either. All these guys are going to be in here at the end. But right now, Brock Purdy is dealing. The thing about it, though, and Dan Graziano alluded to this earlier, the thing that's going to hold Brock Purdy back is not how he's playing. It's that people are going to look for every reason not to give it to him, namely where he was drafted. Number 2, who he's playing for. Number 3, they're going to say it's Brandon Ayuk, it's George Kittle, it's Deebo Samuel, it's Christian McCaffrey. It's not Brock. You could put any quarterback in there and they do the same thing. No, I don't believe you could. I think this guy right now, you have to give him credit for what he's doing. And he's playing at an historically good level.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Louis Riddick. It's going to be because we're looking at somebody else other than him. We're going to look at Ayuk. We're going to look at Christian McCaffrey. We're going to look at Deebo. We're going to talk about the play calling of Kyle Shanahan. And we're going to take credit away from Brock Purdy. So I guess we get to ignore the fact that he didn't look that great in that 3-game losing streak against Cincinnati, Minnesota, and Cleveland when there was no Deebo Samuel or Trent Williams. You're just going to ignore that, huh? I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I know that Brock Purdy is having an exceptional season. If obviously, if we're looking at Jalen Hurts as an MVP candidate, we need to look at Brock Purdy that way as well. I'm not denying that by any stretch of the imagination. Not anybody could come in and fill those shoes. What we have seen, whether it's Mullins or it's whoever the hell else that San Francisco had, because I got brain fog. Jimmy Garoppolo and others. We've seen Kyle Shanahan turn average quarterbacks into something better than that. We got that. Jimmy G, they went to the Super Bowl with him, for crying out loud. We get that. But in the end, all I'm saying to you is this. I'm not trying to imply that anybody can be Brock Purdy, but I'm not going to be blind to what I saw during that 3-game losing streak. I'm not going to be blind to seeing how much he struggled. I'm not going to be blind to this specific statistic, Lewis. When we talk about Jalen Hurts, we talk about him excelling and elevating his level of play when a game is tied or when he's trailing. With Brock Purdy, he's a front runner. When they're in the lead, he plays much better than what he does when they are tied or they are trailing. We have to take that into consideration as well. Again, as you would say, that's not to knock him, not to denigrate him in any way. It's not to look at him and say he doesn't deserve to be a quarterback, he doesn't deserve to be respected for the job that he did. But we can look at him and say, okay, would I rather have somebody who elevates under pressure and under duress, like when a game is tied or they're trailing, or do I want somebody that only excels when they're front running?
You know what, though? I'll tell you what. Go back and look at that Cleveland game, that Minnesota game, that Cincinnati game, and you look at some of the throws that Brock made in the fourth quarter, when they're in the second half, in fourth quarter when they were behind, and the interceptions in particular, the routes he was trying to throw, and really he got himself into trouble for the exact same reason against Cleveland. Cleveland, one of the throws he was trying to throw to Ayuk and it was off target. I think it was Ayuk and it was off target. Against Cincinnati, he's trying to throw that in-breaker again, and he doesn't pick up Logan Wilson dropping underneath him. These are all things that, for me, don't mean that he can't elevate when the game is on the line and when he's behind and when he doesn't have all his best players. These are all teachable moments that say to me, look, I think going forward, he will go ahead and correct those situations and he won't make those mistakes again. Because I think he's already shown that level of football aptitude, meaning I'll learn from what I've done in the past. I had a 3-game tough stretch. I bet you I won't make those mistakes going forward. The same way Jalen Hurts has learned from mistakes that he has made all during his career to the point where now he's ascended to the very, very top of the MVP conversation.
I've been listening to you talk football. I've been listening to you. Y'all teach me football. I'm trying to tell you, I'm listening to y'all all the damn time. How many times have I called you, Lewis? Yo, man, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? Because this is what I'm seeing. What are you seeing, Lewis Riddick? Break it down for me. You know good and damn well there have been 1,000 occasions where you sat up there and said, look, you got to give credit where credit is due. You can do it or you can't. And the fact that this person did it is great. But as the season wanes, duress kicks in. Adversity kicks in. How you handle that tells us who you are. And what I'm saying to you is there's nothing wrong with us saying, Brock Purdy, that's what we need to say.
Context matters.
He's going this way, though. He's going this way.
Okay.
He's going this way.
He's going that way.
But Jalen Hurts is already there. Fresh off of a Super Bowl appearance and came out here and was on one leg still finding ways to win games for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Without Lane Johnson as well.
That's right.
So we've
Without
seen
Lane Johnson.
Hold on, dude. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Who has more interceptions?
Hurts.
Who has a better?
Hurts.
Brock Purdy has a 3-2. Who has a 3? Who has more interceptions? Who has a better touchdown interception ratio right now?
Hurts has more interceptions, has less touchdown throws.
Hey, Lewis, who has more weapons?
I don't know about that.
No.
So
you got
Burt. Right there.
No, it's not.
I think it's even, Bart.
It's not.
Bart, don't do that, Bart. Bart, don't do that, Bart.
What tight end you taking?
Excuse me. Now it's Kittle.
Okay.
When Dallas Goedert was there, I mean, it was nip and tuck the way he was playing now.
What I'm saying is,
who are you taking over A.J. Brown?
That's
you
right.
You ain't talking nobody over A.J. Brown.
But Debo ain't
who you taking over Devontae Smith?
I'm taking Debo over Devontae Smith.
I'm taking Debo over Devontae Smith as well, and I like Devontae Smith.
I mean,
but I am taking Debo over him.
McCaffrey is the best weapon out of all of them.
Wait a minute. That's true.
McCaffrey.
I like what I'm seeing from DeAndre Swift, though.
Let me tell you, McCaffrey is the best skill position player. And the reason why all those areas where he throws those 15-yard in routes and out routes and all that stuff, all that real estate he gets to take advantage of is because McCaffrey is a grown-ass man who can do everything. You got to put that eighth man in the box. He allows him to operate with that type of real estate. The issue is if one of those guys goes down, can Brock Purdy continue to carry the load? We didn't see him carry the load when Debo went down and Trent Williams went down. We know that this is a battle of attrition. If one of those guys goes down and those windows become smaller, do you have more confidence in Brock Purdy to find those windows? Or do you have more confidence in Jalen Hurts to find those windows and being able to win the game any means necessary? Because Jalen Hurts has an opportunity to win the game with his legs, something that Brock Purdy can't do. So if I'm saying who can win and who do I trust more, who's playing better, I'm going to say Jalen Hurts. I know that wasn't the original question, and we're going to find out what San Francisco really feels about Brock Purdy in the near future when it comes time to pay him his cash. Because the reason why everybody's so great around him is because he makes $100,000, $900,000. That's pocket change to Stephen A. That's why you look at the fact that they can go out and get a youth check who's a luxury piece. They can go out and get Kittles. They got 5 Pro Bowl caliber skill position players. We're going to find out what they feel about him and his skill set when it comes time to show him the money.
Okay. All right.
That's all you got. I wouldn't do all that.
You're making it sound. Y'all making it sound like all of a sudden. Y'all making it sound like okay. Wait a minute. You're making it sound like all of a sudden, like somewhere, some way, you know, in the past or right now, I'm saying Jalen Hurts ain't all that. I've been saying that. My point is, right now, Brock Purdy is playing at a historically efficient level.
So
but you just ignored
what is this game going to prove to you?
To me, not much. I believe that San Francisco's a better football team. You know, they have more depth at the position. What happens is you look at one team that has
what if the Niners smoke them?
I think the Niners are going to smoke them, but I don't know. Like, styles make fights, and I think this is a great stylistic matchup. But I just think right now it's more depth. Until they make the decision, maybe get Shaq Leonard, they're struggling with stopping the run in Philadelphia. Well, I think Philadelphia struggles stopping a run. I think San Francisco.
So does San Francisco right now.
Yeah, but they still have dudes at the second level. They got impact players when you consider the linebacker play that they get, you know, from Greenlaw.
Well, what about Philly's secondary?
They're porous. Listen,
all right.
Listen, Philadelphia. Listen, it's a reason why San Fran is a favorite. I think San Fran, when healthy, is the best team in the NFC. The problem is,
I think they're the best team in the NFL when healthy.
But every time they get to the playoffs, just like Dallas, something always goes wrong. Somebody gets hurt, whether it's Jimmy G, whether last year is every quarterback they had on their roster. Can they stay healthy? Because if they stay healthy, they should be there.
Absolutely. I can't wait for this one. 4:30. Better be sitting still.